Hello, in this video we're looking at the last three verses of the Ratana Sutta, verses 15 to 17. I'm dealing with them all in just one video because they differ by only one word, each of them, so the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So I'll read them out without the text first. Yanidha bhutani samagatani bhummani va yani va antalikhe tathagatam deva manusapujitam buddhang namassama suvatyuhotu. Yanidha bhutani samagatani bhummani va yani va antalikhe tathagatam deva manusapujitam dhamman namassama suvatyuhotu. Yanidha bhutani samagatani bhummani va yani va antalikhe tathagatam deva manusapujitam sangham namassama suvatyuhotu. So I'll now read them out again with the text up. Oops, here we are. But I'll go through them just verse by verse now. So yanida bhutani samagatani bhummani va yani va antalikhe tathagatam deva manusa pujitam buddhan namassama suvatyuhotu. So the first line is, of course, identical with the first line of the Ratana Sutta. So just go back to the verse 1 for a complete explanation of that first line. The second line, very simple. Namassama, I'll explain that verb in a moment. Namassama, we venerate, worship. Tathagatam, the object of the verb Tathagatam, the Tathagata, and Deva Manusa Pujita, God human worshipped by or revered by gods and humans. This is a triple compound, Deva Manusa Pujitam, a puja, which we know as a puja, worshipping, reverence. The passive participle is pujita, masculine nominative pujito, accusative pujitam. So worshipped, revered. So Deva Manusa, Deva human revered by humans and Devas. Where you have a compound of this kind, revered by, and then more than two types of person that it's revered by, we don't put a chat there, we just put God human revered, and you have to understand the and. And even when it's when it's not followed by a compound, very frequently, when it's not followed by another word, deva manusa can also be used on its own as a compound noun. Deva manusa would be in the plural. You could say deva manusa cha, gods and humans, but you can also just put it as deva manusa, declining only the second element, manusa, in the plural. So deva manusa, gods and humans, which we have in Satta Deva Manusanang, teacher of God men. So teacher of gods and men, gods and humans. So here Deva Manusa Pujitam, God man worshipped by gods and humans. And Suvattihutu, we've had that now several times, may there be well-beings. I'm going to explain this, what the difference is between namami, and namasami. call up the iPad. There's actually no difference of meaning. Um, in fact, in our there we are. So we have our root nam. Originally, the physical meaning of that root is just to bend. I mean, you bend the fingers, and then by extension, bending at the waist, bending your body forwards, as in bowing in reference. In fact, our word bow, um, etymologically, it's the same as the word bow, as in bending something. It's that same notion. You're bending your body in reverence. And it makes namati, in the usual way, namati, he, she, it bends, and I worship, bend or bow, worship, revere, namami. And it makes a verbal noun, namas. It is a neuter ending stem s, so namas. We have that in the Hindu greeting, namaste, reverence to thee, homage to thee. So it's a verbal noun. Sanskrit, and less commonly Pali, very commonly in Sanskrit, you can make a verb out of a verbal noun. You don't need to, because we've got the perfectly good verb namami, namasi, namati. But you can make in Sanskrit what's called a denominative verb, and you often do it by namasyati, with this infixing of the ya. So namasyati has exactly the same meaning as namati. It's rather the same as we do in English, actually, in some verbs, and coincidentally with this very to revere, we have the verb to revere, and we have the noun reverence. But the noun reverence can also be used as a verb, so we can have to revere and to reverence. Some people might think that that's slightly substandard English, but there it is. It does exist in English. And in rather the same way, we have the regular verb, the regularly formed namami, namasi, namati, verbal noun namas, then in Sanskrit, an extended verb from the verbal noun, namasyami, namasyasi, namasyati. And by regular phonetic mutation, having a pen problem again, the namasyati, it becomes namassati, namassami. Here in this verse, it's in the first person plural, we revere, namassama. So, as I said, there's no distinction of meaning between namama and namasama. They mean exactly the same thing. So here we just see it in this namasama. It also gives it the poet needed an extra syllable there, so he had the choice between saying namama and namasama. So we revere the Buddha, Tathagatam, the thus gone, the Deva Manusa Pujitam, the worshipped by gods and men. The next verse, the only difference is that we have Dhammam instead of Buddhang. Apart from that, they are identical, so I don't need to go through it in detail. And the same applies to the last verse, with the only difference is the Sangha, Sanghannamasama. We revere the Sangha. So I'll just read these out one last time then before winding up this video. Yani the bhutani samagatani bhummani va yani va antalikke Tathagatan deva manusapujitam buddhan namassama suvattihutu. Yani bhutani samagatani bhummani va yani va antalike Tathagatan deva manusapujitam dhamman namassama suvattihutu. Yani bhutani samagatani bhummani va yani va antalike Tathagatan deva manussa pujitam sangham namassama suvattihututi. And of course the explanation hututi, this final ti, meaning thus. It's very often put in as a final word as at the end of a sutta, um, like just unquote. It, and as always, a short vowel, if T is added to a to any word ending in a short vowel, it has the effect of lengthening that vowel. So suvat on its own, suvatti hutu, but suvatti hututi. It's got no grammatical effect. It's a purely phonetic phenomenon of the shortening of a short vowel to a long vowel before the final T. So there we are. That's it on these verses. And that is the end of this series of videos on the Ratana Sutta.